Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson, and today I'm going to be showing you how I created this logo, the processes in, out, and how I did it, showing you kind of like the basics from the start to the very end. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Okay, so this is what you're seeing as the final file. This is what I send to the client. This company is a beard oil company and men's cosmetics company, and I was asked by the client from Beard of Man to design their new brand and new logo. I'm not going to go into specifics into what they do, but I'm going to talk to you about the ins and outs of how I ended up creating this design at the end, which is basically this typographic one along with this emblem right here and the color schemes and everything else. So let's start from the beginning. Okay, so this is the beginning document here, and this is an Illustrator file, and you can see here that I've got 18 artboards out on here, and you might be wondering as to why I have so many different artboards and why there are so many repeats on here. But I'm going to zoom in and start from the beginning. So I already had a mood board, and the mood board is basically a place where I can get a general mood, and I also had an extensive brief and a talk with the client, which is very normal. And I wanted to be a serif kind of logo design, so all the typography had to be sort of serif based because it was an old style vintage hipstery look, which I'm very good at apparently. And basically I went ahead onto Pinterest and I had a massive mood board on a private Pinterest board with the client. So I went ahead and started looking at different fonts. So you can see here, if I got one here, I've got Platino or Palatino, if I can say that right. I think I've got Bookman somewhere else as well, but mainly Palatino. And this was just so I could have some placeholder text as to what I wanted to do. So whether it would actually work or not, I didn't know. So we kept on going around this. And you can see here that I had an image in mind. So this sounds really strange, but generally the first idea that I get for a logo works. And that's because I've had so much experience in logo design. I sort of have an image in my mind of what it can look like. And that is sort of the foundation of the end product. Now, if you look here from some of the first iterations and then you look at the final thing, you can see a huge resemblance at the start to at the end as well, but this one's more refined. So we kept on working here, and I realized that I liked this sort of like patterny thing going on here, and I realized I wanted it to be like a modern vintage label. So I kept on going around with this, and I kept on going around with this, and carried on until we got to here, and I knew that I liked it in the box. I also have this over here, which is an image from the mood board as to the kind of styling we were going for, which was this sort of like whiskey label look. And then from the next artboard down, I realized that I could make the font that I wanted. So I wanted something bold. So I actually created this. This is not a font. This font here is actually mine that I was busy making during this, because all my logo designs generally never use fonts. I always create my own or an adaptation of something that I like. So we keep on going here, and you can see I'm sort of like fiddling through whether we should do it or not, and then see if it actually works. And we keep going through this, and you can see the evolution. I'm just copying and pasting all of this. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this kind of logo process is because it won't take me forever to sort of explain it. It's very self-explanatory, but you can also learn a lot. And then here I've gone ahead and changed the sort of look, and you'd be surprised at how many pieces that are just bad, and they're just my ideas. So you can see here, this is a bad idea, but I had it in my brain and I wanted to get it out. I also had like little memo pads that I used, and I was drawing out. And I knew that they wanted a full typographic logo with all the information on it, and also a monogram or emblem that they could use on their bottles. Now, the main thing that we had the problem with, or the main problem we had to solve, is getting a nice bold text that looked masculine, but also premium, so kind of like Hey Club style, onto a 10 milliliter bottle, which is very, very small, and it had to look good, and also had to be visible to the customer. So this is the sort of problems that we had. So we went ahead and we liked this kind of font or typeface right here that I created. And this was basically a sans serif typeface that I adapted to be a serif typeface to make it more to what it should be. And you can see here I'm repeating, and I'm checking out different aspects here, like different thicknesses of it, and we realized that this is probably going to be too thick, or this is going to be too thick, so we had to thin it down a little bit. And then I go down here and I'm like, I've got a bunch of different ideas, but I just need to get them out. If you can keep scrolling around here, you can see Beard of Man in this sort of Gothic font. Now the reason why this was in Gothic or black letter Gothic is because I had the idea in mind. Now logo design for me is a lot about proving that something doesn't work, and I do that by creating it and using trial and error to see if it doesn't work. So really from the start of this you can see that it does work, because I knew what exactly worked here. I knew exactly that this was going to work, and this is the most obvious solution, and it's also the best solution. But I go down here and you realize that I'm just sort of like going off in these little rabbit trails of like design and seeing whether things work or work better. Then I realize it doesn't. I move on to different compositions here, as you can see, and this is where we review the logo. So during these times here, we're reviewing it together each, and we're making sure that everything works correctly. We're also going ahead and changing shadows and different things. So we've got shadows here that look too generic. We didn't like it. So then we got to this part here, which was the minimalist style of thing, and that's his beard, but in a minimalist style sans serif, or sorry, serif, and it works pretty well, and it's all done on the iPad, as you can see. I've drawn it like that. And then we carry on and see how it looks on black and white. So this next sort of board here is the same, and I've got like 10 of these types of board, but I knew that I liked this. So we had the typeface all there ready to go. This is not the finished one. We had to do a lot of rendering to make sure it worked well. Now we had to go on to the monogram. Now the monogram was supposed to be Beard of Man, or BOM, and we're supposed to interlink them together. Now this was like one of the ideas that I drew, and it didn't work very well. And I've got a load of these little bees around everywhere, but in reality I was changing little things, and I was just really playing with this idea. And then this little thing came to me when I was drawing, and basically what happened was the client said that he would really like something like this that was better, or like that looked more polished and looked just like the bee in Beard of Man. And I was like, okay, we'll do that, because that seems like the most obvious solution. And that was until I started drawing the bee in my little sketchbook, and I came up with this little twiddly bit in the middle, just here. In fact, I'll go find it. So I've got the exact sketchbook that I used for this. So I've got loads of little random sketches in here. And you can see here that I'm just playing around to see what works. And I'll try and show you in the camera properly. But you can see I'm playing around to see what works. And then over here, I create this little guy there, which kind of works, right? I then said, yeah, that's going to work. Let's try it again better. We tried it here, up there, and it looked a bit better. I'll show you there. Then we tried it. So here it actually started to work. This was the best one. And I knew that this was going to be the monogram. I saw it from first sight. I saw it and I was like, well, we're going to have to design this one, and I'm going to have to present it, even though the deadline is in like a day. And I did that, and here you go. This is the not the final one, but this is part of it here. And then I've decided that we could go ahead and create probably a little cut in here for it to work. And that is how we got the monogram. We basically needed something like with BOM, and if you look very carefully here, it has a B, and kind of in the middle an O, and then also if you flip it to the side, an M, which was the that was how I justified it, but it also was just a very unique mark, and it looked just like the B. So then we go ahead and I look for color schemes, and I found this really nice navy blue color scheme here, or this nice blue with this kind of off-white right here, and it looked well, and it looked great with gold as well. And this is supposed to be a premium sort of like beard oil, so I went for this as well, and it looked really good, and I liked it a lot. So then we keep going down here, and I'm playing around with some little compositions down here actually, and their slogan was indefinitely beard, indefinitely man, and that is like the kind of slogan. So I'm playing around with these little different compositions and typefaces as to where we can put stuff, and we came up with this one here, and I like this one the best. After I got all my ideas out, I like that one the best, so we kept that one, and I spelt it wrong here, but that was okay. And basically from here, this is when he previewed it, checked it out, and then I showed him on here, and this is the final file. Now within the final file, I offer all the solutions as to what they may need in the vector file. So I've given them the black and white version of this, totally outlined, then also the monogram version in black and white, and I show them all the different colors. So we've got the off-white, the gold, the blue, and the gray if they want to use that. I also have like this one here, which they can use, and they have all the color schemes right there. I also export it in JPEG files. So guys, that was the literal logo design process. Now I know this is just like a 10-minute video, but you would not believe the amount of work that goes into this. And I thought you guys may be interested in seeing some of the processes of me talking about this one, because especially this was like a company that I really like. At the minute, I'm getting really cool clients that I'm really working for to do with like cool brands and stuff like that. So this was really fun for me to work on. I love the color scheme and I love the work that I've done here. I think it's really nice and it looks amazing on little mock-ups that we do. And I hope you guys enjoy seeing things like this. I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is my website provider, or where I create my website. Basically, it hosts you and you can create awesome websites like the one that you're seeing here, which is mine. I've got a video overlay on the actual homepage and a bunch of other things like my logo and stuff. And I have an online store, a blog, and everything else. Squarespace is a must for all creators. Get yourself on there, start up an online shop, a blog, and get clients from your website as well. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below if you've learned anything from this video, and if you have, what you have learned. And I'll catch you in the next video. I can't do this because you're too far away, but I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon.